Islamic community here in Clinton and Quad Cities and for all. I take a particular amount of pride in that I am a Lutheran pastor and theologian, and that Lutherans in particular have a distinctive contribution to Islam here in Clinton and in the United States, because the oldest mosque, you may not know this, in the United States is in Cedar Rapids. And it is there because of the original Lutherans of my tribe who had invited them in to get started. It was a matter of mutual hospitality. And I think it's a particularly fitting blessing, more than irony, that the Islamic Center now here in Clinton used to be a Lutheran church. And I have been blessed to be able to worship there in its latter incarnation. That is with Dr. Ansari and the rest of the community. I found it to be profoundly enriching indeed. I want to do one odd thing. This is different for me, to be sure, but I need to prove to my mother that you are all here. So, good, okay, that's done.
Want a selfie?
Now, my wife said you have to have a selfie, and I said no. We'll draw the line at that. But I am delighted as a systematic theologian to be coming at this endeavor. I've taught for almost 40 years theology around our country on behalf of the Lutheran Communion, both in the United States and in the world. And this opportunity to talk under some heavy conviction that we have work to do together, because we do have so much in common, is really important, and symbolically so for me as well. We come to these conversations not able at the get-go to just say, well, what do we have in common? Because we do come as ourselves. Even as I want to really work at staying with the commonality, we always have to remember that, as Dr. Siddiqui said, we come to this with difference. God created us with difference so that we can know each other. That's a very interesting thing. I hope we can talk about that. That we require difference to know each other. In other words, if we look like each other, we'd be bored silly. And we could not establish friendship because we'd be kind of like Lutherans sometimes do, talking to ourselves. And we don't get very far that way. But to talk with difference is to be about the God-given task of mutual enrichment. So we are aware of a difference that we are, by virtue of being created, so we are obligated to bring difference into the enrichment of the conversation, and bring difference to the first task of talking about the common. Because if we started with difference, you'd be stuck with difference. But if you start as a family, which we are, with the broader, deeper common, then the differences begin to illumine how we can be better for each other. That is really integral to my own, what is called a doctrine of creation. What it means for all of us to be human being together. So our differences are always contextualized. We see them as important conversation points between extended family members, and that's implied in many verses of the Quran. I won't quote them outright, but you might register them for your own research later. I would first point to the Surah, chapter 5, 82, verses 82, 85, about sincere Christians. And this is an interesting thing, because where we talk about commonality first, what I've discovered to my delight is that where the prophet, blessed be his name, says that Christians and Jews, part of his context, say such and such, but they don't always measure up. He's not meaning that as a criticism, but as a call to them to fulfill our vocation. And so it was that with his difference in commonality of being sisters and brothers, children of Ibrahim, that he would say, we have work to do. Move on. Two further caveats. I remember this from a cross-stitch little thing that used to be on a wall, that wherever you go, there you are. You know that one? For a while it never made sense to me. But, you know, if someone went from job to job to job to job and kept getting fired after the third month, we'd say, you know, the problem probably wasn't there with the jobs. Wherever you go, there you are. You carry your baggage along with. And so we remember our identity even as we work with each other. But then I add this, because we're talking about the Abrahamic and Sarah and Hagar community in America. I wanted to say Abraham in America, Sarah in the States. I couldn't come up with an H to work, so left it with Abraham, assuming that's going to be an inclusive term for today. But that is, it's not just wherever you go, there you are. Wherever you are, that you become. You are affected by location, 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 and not just in the terms of real estate. So the context always means something for us, and we have something really special to bring together about our context as Americans. And I so appreciated your statement at the outset that what is being tested today is not our religious commonality or difference, it is the idea of America. And so we, in our commonality, discovering our mutually enriching difference, have a vocation about making America greater than any other platitude might surmise, however misappropriated it might be even in a political campaign. Oh. I didn't mean to be partisan, but take it as you will. And finally, a very quick take, Heisenberg principle says, whatever you measure is not the thing in itself, it's whatever it is according to the way you measure it. So we have our own eyes. And that means that I cannot be totally confident that I can represent well what I see in Islam or Judaism or Christianity, because those are my eyes. And you have eyes and ears and minds to contribute to, and Dr. Siddiqui has done so well already in getting us going on that score. You have seen along the way, by the way, already the Arabic shalom, and you've seen here the Hebrew shalom. Wherever we go, there we are means something, even the way we have our language construction, because it can also explain our differences to each other. You probably have not seen this term. You may not know how to pronounce it. This would be the original Christian way of saying peace. If in Arabic we say assalamu alaikum, in Hebrew we want to say shalom. Latin Christianity would later say pax vobiscum. First, in the Greek spoken of the day, it was